if I'm allowed to say this because this probably will go on YouTube, but it kills Airbnb for me because I'm like, I never need to stay in an Airbnb again. Like at this point, if I'm going to pay to stay somewhere, it's going to be like a fancy hotel where they clean my room every day and it's like bougie breakfast and all that stuff. But I'm like, why would I ever stay in an Airbnb?
Home exchange.
Seriously.
Welcome to another episode of Vetted Homes. I am so excited today because if you live in a home, this opportunity could be something that is fantastic for you. Also, we're very excited to share with short-term rental operators, mid-term rental operators, and if you love to travel, this is for you. So I'm so excited today. I have Jackie, my co-host and partner on, and then also I'd like to introduce you to Clem from Home Exchange. We are so happy to have you on, and we'd love for you to just tell us a little bit about you and Home Exchange.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me on. I'm really happy to be here. So my name is Clem. I work for Home Exchange, the number one home swapping community in the world that has been around since 1992, which I feel like most people don't know. We've been around for quite a while. The company is French, headquartered in Paris. But that being said, we have members all around the world. And, in the US, we have around 30,000 members that do it, and our company is growing quite fast. So, yeah, it's all very exciting. Thank you for having me.
That's
the reason
awesome.
that I love Home Exchange is to like get the ball rolling is that we got into real estate because we're like, oh, if we have a house over here, we're one of those kind of weird investors that don't have all of our homes in one market. So we're like, if we get a house in like this lake in Indiana, we can be there with our best friends and we can travel there. And if we get a house down here in Tennessee, that's where our parents are. And Florida, we can go to the beach. But doing insurance midterm rentals, which is what we do, we often get bookings that are like 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. So when it actually pans out that we're going or we have availability to go to those places, we can't even stay at them. So sometimes we're like, it feels like we have these homes, but we can't even use them. So when we travel, so ever since we found you guys, Home Exchange, like almost 2 years ago, it really feels like we get the perks. We feel the perks of owning houses in different places. And if I have a vacancy or I see one coming up, I'm actually kind of like excited. I'm like, oh, I'm going to unblock my calendar and see if we can get points so we can stash them up. So
No,
thank you for that.
no, thank you. Yeah, I think Home Exchange, 70% of the homes that we have on the platforms are primary homes. But then the rest are people that have secondary properties, and they kind of do both. Like in the high season, they will rent their properties, and when it's a low season, they will put availability on Home Exchange, accrue points, and then redeem those points on Home Exchange going elsewhere later on. Or sometimes they do direct swap as well. Like, Jacqueline, you come to my place and I go to yours.
Yes.
In Tennessee or wherever.
We've done that before too, and that was amazing. It worked out so well.
Yeah, I work for the company, but I'm a big user. I love the platform and I travel a lot with it. And having young children, I just love exchanging with other families that have young kids because then I don't need to bring the high chairs, the toys. And sometimes I will find like new toys. I'm like, oh, those are cool. Like I can add to my collection, or my kids are so excited because it's a new space. So they give us a lot of quiet time where my husband and I can enjoy. And it's a community. So I think it's really nice. Everyone does it. So you're not either, a host or a guest, you're both. And I think it makes a big difference too.
I love it. I love it. Okay, so let's go back to the basics because I'm still brand new to it. I've signed up, but I haven't used my free points, which I think is so great that you guys give free points when you sign up. So that way you can go be a guest first, which I think is so brilliant. But let's go back to the very beginning. So how does it work? We sign up.
Yes. So you sign up on a platform which is entirely free. And essentially you add your home or your apartment. And once you've completed your profile enough, then you can start seeing other people's properties and reach out to them to swap. Now we have a few different way of swapping on the platform. You have the one that most people know of, which is a direct swap, pretty much like in the movie The Holiday. I know everyone knows that movie, where Cameron Diaz and Kate Winslet swap places, California for this cottage in England. So that's the classic swap. But I think pretty quickly on Home Exchange, we realized that it's kind of hard to find someone that wants to travel at the same time and they're interested to come to your place when you want to go to theirs. So the company introduced a point system. So essentially, when you register based on the size of your property, the sleeping capacity, where you are based, and then the amenities that you have, we give you a value in points of your place. And then let's say Jacqueline wants to come stay at my place, she will give me points that I can reuse to go to your property, Kelly. So it doesn't have to be direct anymore. And it's doing it made the concept a lot more flexible. And that's how most of the swaps are finalized now on our platform. And I think one thing that I want to add to that a lot of people don't always know is that you can swap your entire property, or you can swap, let's say you have an in-law suite or a little cottage on your property. You can also just swap that, which I think is cool.
Well, can you do just one bedroom as well, like in your home?
Yeah, actually, that's what I do sometimes is we have one bedroom with its semi-private bathroom, and we'll just swap that. And it's called hospitality exchange. So, you're there while your guests are here. But because you choose your guests, you kind of know what to expect. You can review their profile beforehand. And for us, for instance, recently we had a family from France. They had a 1-year-old who got along super well with my kids. So it was kind of a cute, fun experience in the end. And then we accrued points while they were here that we're going to reuse to go to Jackson Hole next year.
Oof, nice.
Great. So how does it work then with the communicating with the guests? And like I mean, I've just started doing it, so but I'd love to hear from you. If people are a little hesitant, saying like, "Who's going to be staying in my home? How does that work? How's the vetting part of it work? What do
Yeah.
you guys recommend, or how do you do it?"
No, that's a really good point. So about the vetting, so when you register on the platform, you're asked to verify your profile. So you will have to send your ID and then a proof of residence, and the Home Exchange will review it and then manually validate your profile as a validated profile. But then after, I feel like, I don't know how you do it, Jackie, but me, when I get a swap request, people can't book my property. We don't have instant booking on the platform.
Right.
So it's always a communication between the host and the guest. And so me personally, when I do is when I receive swap request, I will review the profile of the person. Have they done exchanges before? What are the reviews on their profile? And then the initial message they sent, do I feel like, like I like the way they approach me and then I want to host them. And that's kind of how it starts. I don't know how you do it, Jacqueline, but
Same. And also like I love as a traveler, I love that when I type a message, it will kind of auto save. So when I go to look, because it is like you were saying about the availability, it can be kind of weird. Like, so maybe I have to message 10 people for one of them to come back and say, like, yeah, that works perfect. We'll take you, whatever. So I will just go to my target area. Let's just say like Bend, Oregon, because that's what I was looking at this week. And I'm like, Bend, Oregon, and I'll just be like, hey, we want to go to Bend. We love it there. I type this thoughtful message, and your home looks like a great fit for my family, something that I would reply to as a host. And then it's long, it takes effort and energy. So when I go to the next one that also looks like a good fit and it's also in Bend, Oregon, I may just have to tweak one or two words because it auto populates, which is like super nice. And then you also have to be like mindful as a traveler. Sometimes they say, it's our primary house. Like we have an outdoor cat. Can you feed it every night? Or, we have plants that need to be watered, which is just so cool because like when you travel yourself, you don't have to worry about, you can just list your house how it is. This is your primary house. I'm talking not your IMTR or your STR.
Yeah, no, that's a really good point. We actually have members that joined the platform originally for their cats.
I bet.
Yeah.
Because
I
most people pay to have their house sat.
Yeah. Yeah. We were in New York City home exchange a couple of weeks ago talking, we did some workshops with members and we had a few and they were like, yeah, we joined because we wanted to travel and we were looking for someone to take care of our cats and we heard about home exchange and we found great guests that, spend time at our house for free and in exchange looked at our pets. And so, yeah.
And like us, we did an exchange about 2 months ago in Switzerland, or 2.5 months ago, and they had cats, and we saw that, and I'm like, my girls are going to love it because we always say no to getting cats. So it's like we stayed for a month, and it was like such a treat for our girls to be able to play with the cats every day. So and rent a cat for a few weeks.
That's so fun. I love it. So, okay, let's talk about how once we get on the cost to join, and then I know the transaction is just the cleaning fee. Is that correct? And
Not even. So the cost of the membership is $235 for a year, and it gives you access to the platform. You're able to do unlimited swaps. You're covered by your guarantees in case something goes wrong or you get a cancellation. And then if you don't find an exchange the first year, you get the second for free. That's another thing people don't always know that, can help you kind of get started. And then the cleaning fee is actually, so I think that's what sets us apart too from like rental platform is we don't have any standard. We let our members communicate among themselves on what they're comfortable on doing. For instance, me personally, I offer it. I'm like, hey, I have kids. Like, I don't like to clean personally. When I go somewhere, I would rather pay a cleaning fee. But I have had guests that are like, no, 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 we're fine to clean ourselves. So I don't charge them anything. And I have even had instances where guests were like, "Oh yeah, we'll cover for the cleaning fee," and I got home and my house was absolutely perfect. So I was like, "I'm just gonna refund you because So yeah, the only thing that you pay on the platform is your annual membership fee. That's it.
that's great. That's
And
great.
we've done it too, like because our cleaner is typically for like an Airbnb turnover or a long term, like an insurance midterm rental turnover. Say it's like 295 or 395 or something that the cleaners would charge. But I've had people say, "Oh, we're just going to stay like 2 nights. We'll clean up after ourselves. You probably won't know we were even there." So then I just tell my cleaner, "Hey, we kind of had somebody stay for a night or two and they're going to clean up after themselves. Could you just go over and just double check it behind them?" Because for us, like our standard is very, very high for a family. So I couldn't just let somebody like clean and then just be like, "Okay, I trust you." But I'll tell my cleaner, like, what would that charge me? Like $100 to go by, make sure it's like perfect. If anything needs, if the beds weren't made to the way we make them, just look for anything. And then I'll tell the people like, hey, normally the cleaning fee is $300, but if you clean up after yourselves, I'm still gonna have to send my cleaner out. Is 100 okay? And I've had people be like, that is great, perfect, no problem. And I've had what you said, where they're like, they pay it, and then the cleaner comes and says, "Are you sure someone stayed here? The beds are made, everything." I'm like, "Yep," but just double check. But that's great. I mean, they're some of the most respectful travelers ever, which makes sense because I feel that pressure too when I'm leaving someone's home. I'm like, we didn't pay a penny to stay here. They were so kind. Like our last people left us a cute little local gift basket of like chocolate in the area and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, kids, wait in the car. Like after the house was already clean and we still took another like hour to go through and just make sure like everything was back in its place.
Yeah.
And we paid a cleaning fee, but because we have 5 kids, so I want to make sure.
Yeah, I can relate. I can relate to what you're saying. But yeah, I think the fact that to be on the platform, you have two hosts. You're a guest, you're traveling places, but you have to
That's
host
it.
yourself. I think it makes such a huge difference. It's really an equalizer. There is not like the relationship between the host and the guest because everyone does it. And that's the feedback we're getting is like people are very respectful and so no, I'm glad you've been experiencing that too. Jacqueline.
Right.
Speaking of the
So,
equalizer thing, there is a standard and then there's a premium level, right? That's
Yes.
one I don't know of anything about.
Yeah, of course. So it's a different team, so I'm not as of an expert.
Okay.
But so I work for a home exchange, which home exchange anyone can register on the platform. But
Okay.
about 2 years, the company created a sister company called Home Exchange Collection, and Home Exchange Collection is more for, I want to say, like luxurious properties. So they're really vetted, and you have to, based on your location, amenities, it's more of like a gated, smaller community within home exchange. And people that are part of collection can continue swapping with regular home exchange or not. They can decide. To give you a bit of an idea, the home exchange community today, we have 240,000 members. So we're really growing nicely, and we grow a lot thanks to our members. To be honest, like 50% of our growth comes from members just talking about it with their friends and family and colleagues. And collection, we have about 2,900 homes that are really handpicked and selected. And the membership fee is higher. It's $1,000 a year. But if you use it, it's really nothing. Like it's
Totally.
yeah.
So is there a standard and like you apply and it's just kind of, or is there like your home value has to be a certain dollar amount or it has to be a specific?
Yeah, no, that's a good question. So you apply, and then the home exchange team will review, and based on where you're located, the amenities of your property, and the value of your property. I think at minimum your house has to be valued at $1 million, which I feel like in the U.S. it's a lot of people have. It doesn't necessarily mean it's a nice house either for 1 million. So they review kind of everything, and then
Gotcha.
you get in.
Well, you could probably get your beach house on there. You should totally do it.
I'm definitely going to look into it.
Look
Now,
into
that was
I could send you more information too and put you in touch with the team. And it's, if you type on Google home exchange collection, they will come up. And it's not like your home exchange where you create your account and you complete all the steps and boom, you can start talking to people. With home exchange collection, your profile is reviewed. And once it's reviewed and you're qualified, then you get accepted.
And then can you still book on home exchange too? Like,
Yes. Yep.
okay,
So
so
you
it's
can
all
decide.
integrated.
Yeah, you can decide. So members of the collection community, some members are like, no, 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 I only want to swap with collection members,
Yeah.
or they have the options to be like, I'm okay to be visible to the regular home exchange community, and they do both.
Yeah, because you just get a lot more money. You get a lot more points for your night, right? Yeah.
Yeah, for us at Home Exchange, we really don't use transactional, even booking. It's like we finalize exchanges. It's a community, not a marketplace. You can't
Yeah.
book, instant book. You have to talk to Jacqueline if you want to go to her house. And I think earlier when we were talking about the cleaning, communication is so key at Home Exchange, because I feel like it's super important for guests as well as hosts to set the expectation from the beginning. Like, here's what I expect when you come to my home, and kind of talk about it, everything up front. Because thankfully, I think the latest stats that I got is like 99.7% of exchanges are incident free. And the few incidents that we have very often stem from the fact that communication was not, people did not talk about everything up front. And Home Exchange, it's not a standardized experience. I don't know if you've noticed that, Jacqueline, but that's why it's important to review profiles and kind of vet even where you're going to go to make sure it's the type of property you want to visit. But now that we've grown so much and we have more than 250,000 members around the world, we have lots of options on the platform. And we have members that do both, short-term rentals, high season because they want to make money, and low season, they accrue points with Home Exchange so they can travel for free. It's kind of a different mindset. The two.
Which is a
so
dreamy situation for people like us that do IMTR because we don't work in an office. So like as soon as it's low, as soon as peak season is like ending, we're like, let's go. Because all these homes get on the market. It's so nice. But I was going to say too, I remember our first booking, it was to Brittany, France. It was in
Yeah.
Rennes. It was like the best experience ever. And just like you're saying, we were kind of nervous. We were like talking about exchanging for a month. They're like, what about your car? You know, could you leave your car? We'll leave ours, all these things. And we're like, how do we know? How do we trust these people? And then they said, like, do you guys want to book a FaceTime so we can just talk all this stuff through? Man, that just melted away any worries I had. They're like FaceTiming us from their porch. Their kids are playing in the background. They're like eating out on their porch under the sunshine, telling us all the things. And you can eat food from our garden over here. And there's a park down there. And I'm like, okay, these people can have our car. They can have everything.
Yeah.
So that was our first experience, and it was obviously delightful. Bicycles they left us. I mean, it felt like we were instantly living there. So I would say too, for people thinking about moving somewhere else, home exchange is like the perfect thing to do, to like walk a mile in somebody else's shoes and just be like, if you think your life's going to get so much better by living in Miami or, Paris, then trade your house or, gather points up and then book it for a month or like longer, just so you instantly are living there. It's not like you're in this Airbnb or this like, hotel, but you're immediately like watering plants and was like getting the mail every day and stuff. So you really feel what it's like to live there. And for us, we've definitely, that first experience in Rennes was like, we could totally live in Rennes. And then we went to Perpignan after that, and we're like, no, I don't think we would ever want to live in Perpignan, but we're Rennes people. We're Brittany people. Like, we've been to Paris like 5, 6 times, and we're like, we're definitely Brittany people. We could just live there. The food, oh, it's just, but anyways, so it's really a great
Yeah.
experience where you can feel like you live somewhere.
Yeah, I think you're definitely swapping homes but you're like swapping lives. And
Yes.
very often like hosts will leave like a guide with like, if you're in France, here's my favorite bakery to go get croissant
Yes.
every Saturday, or the market is on Tuesday and you will get the freshest veggies and fruits ever. And story time is on Wednesday at the library. And you get all those local tips that it's kind of priceless. Like, but you have to be up for a bit the unexpected, because it's not like a guided, here's what you can expect on your vacation. With home exchange, like you're swapping with Jacqueline, and you're going to get there and you're going to learn all those local things that Jacqueline loves to do. And personally, I find it's amazing. And, and I mean, the savings, like I'm sure for you, 1 month in Brittany.
Yeah, we've done the math so many times and we laugh because we're like, it saved us like 40 grand or more so far.
Yeah.
So it's crazy because we used to get Airbnbs and like stay for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. So now we've like doubled or tripled our time because I'm like, it's free, babe. Let's just stay a couple extra weeks. We have nothing going on at home. What do we need to get home for?
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah, we even have like a member in New York. I know she does that. She does long swaps in Europe with her kids. And because the cost of childcare in Europe is so much more affordable, she does camps for her kids. And so, she home swaps, so doesn't pay for accommodations. And the kids go to those really cool camps in those different countries, get exposed to different cultures, and it costs like a third of what it would cost, in the States. So,
Oh, yeah.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
that's,
I feel like it's unlocking so much opportunity and so many exciting ideas for us.
yeah.
Because,
yeah.
I mean, and even in our community, or just even short term rental operators, mid term rental operators, a lot of us have multiple properties. And so we can open, when, we know a guest is moving out, we can open it up for a week or two, accrue the points, because sometimes it sits. We have vacancy in this industry as well. And so to know we can use it to then travel. I mean, my love language is vacations. So I'm really excited about it.
It's the French love language too, so I can relate to the. But I think something very enticing too for people with multiple properties is that on home exchange, so you create your profile, which is about yourself, Kelly and Jacqueline, and then you have your listings, which are your properties. Most people have one or two, but it's cost the same to add more. So the cost of the yearly membership that I mentioned earlier, $235 a year, it's that price whether you have one property listed or 10 properties listed.
Crazy.
The same. Yeah.
It's
It's
amazing.
really crazy.
So as far as like points go, how does that work? Is it kind of like I rent mine out for one day and then I get one day somewhere else? But I know
Yeah.
you were saying there's different points value. So how does that work?
Yeah. So, based on where your place is located, that's one criteria that the algorithm will take into account to define the value in points. The other one is the sleeping capacity. And the third one is amenities. Do you have a swimming pool or a private backyard or tennis court or whatever? So based on that, the algorithm will give you a value in points. So that's what people will have to give you if they want to stay at your property. And then you can redeem those points to go elsewhere. And I will
Is there
say
the availability to change that though yourself a little bit? There used to be like if it gave me 200, it would let me go down to like maybe 180 and up to 220 or something. There was a little bit of a play.
yes, you can play a little bit. I think at Home Exchange, we don't really advertise, like members don't change the value in point that much. It's kind of like, you know,
Hidden a little bit.
maybe a little bit, but not really, because I don't think it's the mindset really.
Yeah.
But it's like when you register, like you set where you're comfortable at, and then you start accruing those points, and then you redeem them to go elsewhere. So my property might be valued at 100 points, and Jacqueline might be valued at 200. So I'm gonna have to accrue a lot more points in order to go to Jacqueline than she would to come to mine. But I think one cool thing that I haven't mentioned is that when you register on the platform to get you started, we give you points. So you get 800 points by completing all the onboarding steps, essentially, of arriving on the platform. So, adding your photos and the descriptions, getting your profile verified. So you get 800 points for that. And then when you activate your membership, you get 500 points. So that's a total of 1,300 points.
Vacation already.
It's like a week somewhere. And I think the whole idea behind it is we know for a lot of people, hosting is the scary part in this. So we give our new users some points to help them go somewhere so they can see how secure the platform is, how it works before they have to host themselves.
That's great. I love it.
And there's also places in the world that are just generally cheaper to go to, like a lot of South America. I mean, like Bali, for example, because we're talking about going to Bali. I'm like, there are some homes there that easily, if they were in LA or in, anywhere else, they would be like 500 points a night. But because they're in Bali and it's just much cheaper, to live there, they'll be like 180 points a night for like a gorgeous home with a pool in the backyard or something. So, at the rate that we accrue points at 250 a night for most of our places, and then we could people could rent from us for 2 weeks and we could use those points and stay for a month in Bali. So it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
is
I know
cool.
we have some incredible properties in Bali. It's on my list at some point.
Yeah, it's on ours too, for sure.
2 years ago, I was able to finalize a guest point swap in Nantucket. Nantucket is this, outside Massachusetts. I was amazed I could find something, but I did. And, it was off season. It was for New Year's, so December until beginning of January. But we were in this beautiful property, and I found it on a short-term rental. And usually those people were renting it for $900 a night. And we stayed there for 10 days with Home Exchange for free, beyond our membership fee that we pay on a yearly basis, but that's it. And
That's
yeah,
incredible.
it feels good, when you do it.
So how many points was that one a night? Do you remember?
I don't think it was that much. I think it was maybe 210.
See,
So
that's crazy. But I love it because you guys are thinking so differently. You're not it's really not like a $1 to 1 point ratio at all. I was thinking of it that way in the beginning, but it's really not. So you kind of have to throw money out the window and just think about like your trading and experience.
exactly. Yeah, I think it's definitely a big mindset shift.
Yeah.
But we do have a lot of people that do both and they understand that difference and it works great. You know, when you have availability and your property is sitting empty, it's best to have guests come and you accrue points that you can reuse to travel in this cool community.
Yeah. I will say that I feel like people tend to book out more. Like they book in the future, at least like a month in the future,
Yeah.
which is harder for IMTR, like what we do, because we like to have an empty property so that when an insurance like need happens, it's like same day they can check in or whatever. So we're constantly keeping these days wide open. But I have seen lately there's a last minute thing that you guys are doing. So I think, are you guys actively working on kind of increasing the last minute stays?
Yeah, well, I think as our community is growing, we have a lot more inventory now, so we're able to do it. So there is a filter when you do a search, you can look for like last minute availability on the platform. And I think you made a really good point, Jacqueline, too, earlier, is that with home exchange, you can't expect to send one message and then finalize a swap. It takes some effort. I have had instances where I send two messages and I'm able to finalize something really quickly. And sometimes it takes me 10, 15 messages. And sometimes it doesn't work out. But then I'm like, you know what? I haven't lost any money. I just lost a little bit of time.
Totally.
But you create your initial message, like you said, and you reuse it time after time, personalizing it a little bit. And so in the end, it's almost becomes like a little game for me as I will sit and I will look at new properties on the platform, like, oh, I'm saving that one for later. And, but you definitely have to come in at home exchange with a bit of a flexible mindset. You can find last minute swaps, but it's more complicated than because we don't have instant bookings. So you always have to reach out to your host to know if they want to accept you as a guest. So, yeah.
So on our end, just speaking to vetted homes members and just other people doing midterm renting, we often have it in our lease that there's a 14-day notice to vacate or a 30-day notice to vacate. So you would want to kind of follow up closely there. If and for me personally, if I know I'm thinking about doing a home exchange with this property, I would ensure that I had a 30-day notice to vacate. That way you could like say today, August 4th, I get a notice to vacate. Now I know September 4th, they're moving out. I would right now go in, open up my calendar for September 4th and see if I couldn't get a home exchange booking, even a few nights, a week, whatever, because someone's moving out, you get it cleaned, ready to go for the next guest. And even if another insurance client comes up, you say, yeah, someone's moving out. I just need a week to turn it over. And during that week, you're having a guest, you're earning all these points, and your next vacation is now paid for. You know, pretty
Yeah,
wild.
I love it. Is there anything specific that you guys speak to, Clem, for like short-term rental operators or mid-term rental operators?
Mm, I mean, I think the human aspect of home exchange is something to really understand going into it. People are going to want to speak to you, the host. So, if you're used to have someone in between managing your properties, I don't think it's really the mindset of home exchange. And that's something we want to keep because
Yes.
For
it's
sure.
how it works. Like it's a human company, like it's a community and people want to continue having those direct contact with their guest and host. I think something special too, and Jacqueline, you mentioned it a bit, is people tend to leave little gift baskets for their guests and presents. Like I've had instances even in Brittany. I went to Brittany at some point with my family, and we got there. They had cooked dinner for us,
Oh,
and they had those cute Brittany bowls made for our kids with their name on it. It was so personalized and sweet. And
so
so
sweet.
obviously while we were there, we really thought about, okay, we want to leave them something really
Yes,
special and thoughtful. And, we did. And, the kids did a painting of their house. And then we got some stuff for that. We had brought like maple syrup from the US, etc. But I think all of those things, it makes such a big difference in the
totally.
experience. And then I still receive message from people I have hosted 2 years ago, checking in sometimes. and vice versa for us. So I think it makes it really, really different from that standpoint. You're not running a business, you're like entering a community. Um, and another thing is, I think where our strength is too, is for us, what's hard is to kind of like get people in, because a lot of people are interested about it, but it takes a bit to like, okay, let's really do it. But most of the people that start swapping, we keep them.
I was going to say that. I want to say to anybody watching, if
Yeah.
you are hesitant, just try one swap. Just try one time. Use the free points. Just do it one time because it changes everything. Like all of a sudden, now whenever we are paying for stays, I'm like, oh, babe, can you believe we just wasted $3,000 or whatever? You know, it's like we could have just, if we knew about this sooner, we should have found a home exchange because it feels crazy that this is a reality that's out there and people just don't know about it. It's wild.
It's still, we're still not that known. We're trying to change it, but yeah, but slowly, we don't want to become too big too fast.
No,
And I
I
guess,
love what you said about, the personal thing. It's like the reality is your kids are playing with somebody else's toys and like vice versa. So there
Mhm.
is this like it's like you're becoming friends with somebody in a cool way. And for me, it fills my tank because I actually loved doing STR. I loved that part of it. I loved the like leaving a gift basket and checking in with them all the time. And that was like my role. But when we expanded and had more and more houses and we started going to midterm, I did end up putting a manager there because it was just taking up a lot of my time. But I realized that there's this element in me that like loves to host and loves to like do that kind of stuff. So home exchange is my outlet for that.
that. And I think another probably important point for you guys is that with home exchange, because there is no money exchange between host and guest, we have a lot less regulations. And like for instance, like in cities where short-term rentals are banned, or you have to rent for more than 30 days, home exchange, given that people don't pay to stay, it's considered more as like hosting friends. So that's also how sometimes people get to know about us, because they look for alternative. And yeah, so another.
Probably some people will want to know about the like protections. I know you mentioned there's like some liability protection if somebody were to, I guess, damage your home. And also if you had booked, let's just say you booked, a month trip to Paris, you paid for your flights and all the things, and then last minute this person just left the platform or something. What are the protections there?
Yeah, of course. So the guarantees that the company offers are, so you have up to $1 million in damage protection in case something happens. And the way it works is at every swap, there is a $500 deposit that's there in case, let's say, Jacqueline, you come to my home and then something happens during the exchange, you tell me, and then home exchange will take those $500. And then after that, you will be covered up to $1 million. So that's how it would work. And for the cancellations, when those happen, is a couple of scenarios. Very often we have our members support that's available, 7 days a week, 24 hours in 7 languages, because we're kind of all over the world now. And so they will help you find an alternative swap within, I think it's 30 miles to where you were originally. And if you are not finding a swap, if they can't find a swap, for your family, then we have guarantees. I think it's up to $2,400 to cover for like short-term rentals or hotels or something like that.
Oh.
I want to say, thankfully, most cases we find an alternative swap, but sometimes those guarantees kick in, which is kind of nice to know that, you will have some coverage.
So if they find, let's say that we spent like 2,000 points on a swap and they fall out, will they eat like if the one that they find is 3,000 points, will home exchange cover the difference in points or do we cover the difference in points
Home
or
exchange will cover the difference in
home
points.
exchange does? Okay, that's pretty cool.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
is sweet.
And like same, like sometimes cancellations happen way in advance. We can find, something that suits people, decides to cancel their swap entirely. They will get their guest points back, because if the cancellation was initiated by the host, the guests had nothing to do with it, so they get
Sure.
their points back.
Okay.
Um, the member support really works with members. So at the end of the day, everyone is happy. And, the company has been around for more than 30 years. So we've had quite of experience going through all of that. And again, it goes back to communication, good communication, specifying, hey, in my house, you have access to everything except my basement. So you're not allowed there. Or except, I don't know, you have a very nice coffee machine that only people that know how to use it would be able to use it. Then you just tell your guest, hey, you can't use the coffee machine or the margarita machine. We had an example a couple of weeks ago of a member that was like, no, I don't want people to touch this. Or, yeah, it all stems from good communications, and that's why the human touch is super important in home exchange.
I love that. And our people are so hospitality is like their favorite thing. So I feel like there's just so much opportunity unlocked here. So
I'm
that's
thinking of so many members that are going to love this.
totally, yes, it's exciting. Is there anything else, Clem, that you would like to share that we maybe didn't cover?
Mm, no, I mean, I think maybe one thing is we have filters on the platform that can help you find homes really adapted for kids, or that accept dogs, if you like to travel, or, with your animal. Or, we have filters if like you want to find a property that's on the ocean or on the lake or mountains. So my advice would be registering on the platform doesn't cost anything. So try it, create your account, start looking. And then obviously, Jacqueline, I know you have a lot of experience. I'm sure you can vouch. And Kelly, hopefully you get started. But I think it really changes how people travel. And I'm saying that, I work for the company, but I hear it from a lot of our members is at first you're like, what is this concept? And then people start doing it and they just stick with us. They just stay. And we're
I don't
grateful
know
for
if I'm
that.
allowed to say this because this probably will go on YouTube, but what it does, it kills Airbnb for me because I'm like, I never need to stay in an Airbnb again. Like at this point, it's if I'm going to pay to stay somewhere, it's going to be like a fancy hotel where they clean my room every day and it's like bougie breakfast and all that stuff. But I'm like, why would I ever stay in an Airbnb?
Home exchange.
Seriously.
Yeah.
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 Oh.
Jackie, is there anything else you want to add from your experience?
Awesome. We're glad you came on. So fun. You're going to help a lot of people. And I think this is going to be a really, really added value to people that are doing midterm rentals. Short term, of course, you see that, but midterm could be also huge with vacancy because every time you have a little vacancy, you're earning. So it's like you're paying for your next trip.
Yep. And then we get to use our own homes, which is so exciting. We don't even have to wait for vacancies in our rentals. We can do our own, which I think is
One thing I haven't done yet, I did a simultaneous swap, but I used one of my rentals because I still can't get over like, it's not about that I'm worried they're going to break my espresso machine at all. It's more about like, I don't feel like my own house is good enough. Like, I'm like, I need to make sure it's like perfect. And we're,
It is. A lot of people feel that way, which I'm like, oh, bummer. I wish people didn't, because I'm sure what you feel like your everyday home is kind of boring to someone from France or Spain or Canada.
right.
It's like, this is so cool. Like, I want the American, real experience in the neighborhood. And I don't think people are coming for, looking for perfection coming on the platform. In the contrary, they're looking for authenticity. And
Yeah.
that's what you
As
get.
long as you advertise it properly. So like,
Exactly.
if
Yep.
you are going to leave your kids' toys and you are going to leave stuff, like make sure the photos show your kids' toys and stuff. Cause, in our line, sometimes we're getting a home ready while we're still maybe living in it, furnishing it, whatever. So we're used to like make it look perfect, remove anything personal, family photos off the walls, like, whatever, photograph But for home exchange, it's just literally photograph it as it is.
Yeah.
Kid stuff, family picture, whatever, however it's going to look when they get there. And I think that's really different. And that's like, it's been hard for me to get over that, but I plan to do that this year.
Oh, fun. So great.
All right, Clem, how can people find you if they want to find out more information?
Yeah. If you type home exchange on Google, we'll come up. We have Instagram. I know if Jacqueline and Kelly, you share your referral codes, they can sign up through your profiles as well. But yeah, we're the largest platform really. So if you look for home exchange, and I think we're the one that has been established for the longest time. And
there's some copycats out there, but none of them are the real deal. Just remember, home exchange. It's been around for a
long time and a lot of inventory. So I think the ability to swap are a lot larger than in any other platforms out there. So
that's awesome. Yeah. And so here's the code. We'll give it to you really quick. It's Jacqueline, JACLYN -5, C as in cat, 37, B as in boy. So if you want,
we'll put it in the link. Put it in the link. Yeah.
But yeah, if you want to sign up, I think, we get points and you get points, I believe. So
you will.
And then you go share you'll get your own codes too when you sign up for your home, and you can go share that with all the people that you know. And we can start exchanging homes.
There's so many people and they love me for it.
So fun. I'm excited to try it. So Clem, thanks so much for coming on today. And we, just appreciate your time and are excited to travel some more.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me. And if any questions or anything come up, don't hesitate.
Awesome. Thanks, Clem. Nice meeting you.
Likewise.